Okay. So my first question for you is, what has been one of your most memorable moments working with children?
Um, I would say I guess my most memorable moment. I have a lot of them working with Freedom School and teaching. Um, but like I said, those milestone moments, like when a kid kind of gets it, like it's something that they've been trying so hard to do. I think that's really good. A couple of my kids, like whether it be conflict resolution or getting like we have like letters or whatever that we do during the school year. So if they can remember it, like the smile on their face, it just is rewarding. So
Oh.
yeah.
Well, what is one of your biggest strengths?
Um, Patience, I would say for me, especially working with the little ones. Well, some of them they might be working on potty training or they just have a lot going on at home. So just really working with the parents. I think patience is key as well. Um, and then working with the kids too, as well as administration. In any field you're going to go in, you're going to need patience. So I think having that has been it's been working well for me. So
Okay. Yeah, I definitely, patience is something that I definitely grew on myself this summer.
Yeah, my first year at Freedom School, that's what I was learning a lot of patience. Yeah.
But it's a good thing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But what's one of your biggest weaknesses?
Personally or teaching?
As far as education. Yeah.
Education. I would say probably in the science department because we really want to teach the kids, STEAM-based and STEM-based things. But that science piece, like just trying to break it down to preschoolers, is a little hard. We do. I remember I did a lesson this past year. It was on sinking and floating, but they don't understand like density and things like that. So just having to break down those broader concepts or general concepts to their level because you'll explain it. Your co-teacher might know what you're talking about, but then they're looking at you like,
Yeah.
So. So definitely, when that happens, you have to bring in creativity, so like visual aids, charts, songs, chants, different things like that, just so they can kind of grasp it. And even still, like they still might not get it, but you can see like, okay, float, and we have to do we'll do like a water and then dump it in there. So they get it sometimes. So I would say science is like my weakest area, just in the sense of trying to get them to understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe that each day a teacher has the opportunity to learn something new at school, whether it's about the students or themselves. So what is one lesson that you learned that has stuck with you throughout your career so far?
I would say to have fun while teaching. I think it is important to like stick by the guidelines on what you're doing, but kids want to learn with teachers who they can have fun with. So I think that's something I learned, especially in my first year teaching. I was a little nervous, I was like, am I going to say it right? I was just worried about a lot of things, but I just learned, like, number one, they're kids. So they're so, impressionable. They really want to learn. So if you can make your lesson fun and engaging, I think that's the best thing. And I luckily had some coworkers who helped me out with that. So
that's something I really kind of want to incorporate, which is why I'm so big on, like, Freedom School Way in public schools.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to consider becoming an educator?
I always knew I wanted to teach in some capacity. So I'm the oldest of four, and I just wanted to, do something bigger with myself, working with kids. So I just wanted to teach them, especially like the younger ones, because I really think like those are the golden years, 3, 4, and 5. And I think early childhood isn't something that's pushed. It's the first to get cut in terms of funding. So I think that's what really drew me to it. Yeah.
Do you believe in bad kids?
No. I think kids who have challenging behavior, sometimes it is genetic, but sometimes it's just their circumstances, things that they're in, they're going to mimic what they see. So sometimes I think you might say you have a bad child, but then when you meet the parent or you kind of listen to what's going on with them, you learn and it clicks like, okay, I see, why this is going on like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say, bad child. I really don't like that term. So, yeah.
And let's see, has there ever been a time where you just kind of thought to yourself, I just can't do this? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Teaching, no. There was never a time where I said I can't do this. I think HR and administration. Those are the big two driving forces that drive people out of education or at any job. So I would say this past school year, there was a time where I was like, I can't do this, but it wasn't because of the kids, it was because of the administration. But in the same sense, what kept me going was my kids.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times I walked in heavy, different things on my mind. I see my kids, all that goes away. And so I'm able to put past, what's going on in my personal life or what I'm feeling about, the school, because I know I'm making a difference with them and it's bigger than me. So I think that's what really, that helps me. So
Most definitely.
yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of controversy as far as budget cuts in schools. They're like even cutting out music.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so my school, we're in partnership with CMS and in Head Start. So with us, funding is already cut. So we don't even have electives or things like that. Everything we get is in partnership or donations or some type of agreement they've come up with. So in the past, we've had, good partnerships. We ever do a lot of things, but this school year, we didn't have that. So we definitely felt the brunt of that because, it just got snatched away just quickly. So then we were challenged with coming up with our own field trips and just really getting creative. So you just really have to have a team that's really creative or else it's going to be a really dry school year. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
For child safety, do you feel it to be okay for a teacher to intervene in a student's personal life if the student proposes that there's a problem at home?
I would say yes and no. I feel like in the teaching field and education, we have to be advocates for our kids. So I think it's definitely okay to kind of inquire at the parent, hey, is everything going okay? I noticed X, Y, and Z. I think that's definitely appropriate because we want to make sure the child is okay as well as their family. So, I would for their safety. I think if anything happens, whether it be you need to call DSS, Child Protective Services, if you need to talk to the parent for a parent-teacher conference to express your concerns, I think it's needed. Yeah.
Good. Because I just get worried about some children sometimes just because of the parents sometimes.
Yeah, and it is definitely a scary process. I can recall a time where me and my co-teacher were contemplating what we should do in that same sense because the child was coming in exhibiting different behaviors. Their whole behavior just changed dramatically. Talked to the mom and everything's fine, but later on, we just kept doing like wellness checks or what we call them. And so we just checking in, everything like that, and we uncover what really was going on, and she really appreciated it, so yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking away from pre-K for just a second, how do you feel about the grading system that CMS is taking under their wing from an academic standpoint? Do you feel that it's fair?
I get why they're doing it, but I do think we're too test driven and data driven. So I think it does take away from the child's experience because even the children know that they're teaching the test pretty much. And so I think just thinking about my own experience in school growing up, they're taken away from different educational pieces. Like I understand we're going to school to learn and different things, but I feel like it should be a balance in the two. Like, because I remember we used to do plays and we had different, celebrations throughout the year. And it just seems like they're just not doing it anymore. So I think it has an effect on the kids and as well as the teachers because I've talked to different friends in the teaching field and they feel like they can't adequately teach what they want to and how they want to. So that makes them unhappy as well. So it's like I get it, but we have to look at the well-being of the child. I think they're the ones taking the biggest setback.
Yeah, because in high school when I was doing Common Core, it was very hard for me to even pass one test.
Yeah. And I understand Common Core, to increase, like if a child is in North Carolina and they switch to a school in California, it should be the same. But everybody doesn't learn at the same pace. Some kids get test anxiety. They just do. It's just what happens. And it's just, in the same sense, No Child Left Behind, too, keeps pushing them along and they're further behind. So kind of a catch-22. I'm a little torn on the thing. So.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, most definitely, that was all of our questions.
Okay.
So thank you so much for answering them.
No problem.
Let's go ahead and end this.